Hello guys, today we'll be looking at how to perform a sales analysis project. Okay, so now I have a data set concerning sales and I want to perform. All right, so now you can see here on our background, it is a Power BI application. You can see we have Power BI is a business intelligence application that provides platform for users to transform raw data into data visualization, okay, in order to make insights, all right, in order to make informed business decision, okay, from that insight. Now, how I got there, click on blank report. Already, I already have mine already. So by default, you're going to have this, okay. So now, before we start, we need to have a data set, okay. Now I have a data set. Now, if I want to now check for my data set, let's say I want to use sales, so I can come down here and search sales. So now you see I have my sales and it's in what data type. You can see Microsoft Excel worksheet. That means on the XLSX. Okay, so I'm going to use the Excel, but it's best to use this, but it's advisable. Let's use get data from another source. So by the time we do this now, you can see all the information. So now, since we know it's an Excel, I can click here, Excel. You can see all the list of channels, but I'm going to use the channel of the Excel. Then connect. Now you can see my file is already showing practice file. So my file also is also here. So you can see and you see it's an Excel. So if your file is an Excel, it will show. Let's say you put an Excel, you inputted it was an Excel and you didn't see the file. Now if you want to see all the files, just change this and put all file. So you're going to see all the files available on your file explorer. So I'll click on my dashboard, click on my practice sales practice file Power BI, and I open. So you now open what we call a domain called navigator. So you can see the navigator is showing us all the informations that are in that data set. Okay, it's just one, but it's giving us the duplicates. So if you pick one, it will give us a preview. That means just a little glimpse of the data set. So we'll check the box. That means we're selecting input and we also check the box selecting the master data. Remember, now what we are doing now is that we are performing ADL, that's extraction, then we'll get to the transform and we'll get to the model. Now, there's the concept called data modeling. It involves transforming and restructuring your data. Okay, transforming and restructuring your data. So first of all, now we have imported the data, that's the extract. Then we can't just go to load. Okay, we need to check if they're the right data type and missing values. Oops, you can see now I click on load and you see went straight, but it's not supposed to be so. Okay, so please, what you do is if you click as well and it's loading, you don't need to worry. Okay, if you end up in this kind of situation whereby you skip the transform, what I will do is you will see on my data here I have this information. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click on any of these data sets and click on edit query. So this will take me to the transform that I want to go before. And under transform, we have what we call the Power Query Editor. It helps us to restructure data. So here now, we're going to check for missing values. We're going to extract columns. We're going to replace empty values, duplicate. Okay. So you can see now here we have in terms of queries, but they are table. All right. So you can see I have a lot of information. Date, product ID, quantity, sales type, payment mode, discount, and the master data as well. So we notice that the informations are not complete. Okay, but first of all, we want to extract some informations. So we go to the input data. You can see I've selected the dates, and what I'm going to do now is I go to we have home, we have transfer, we have add column. So I click on the add column here. Okay, now if I want to do this now, you can see if I come down here now, I'm able to select any of this information. Why? It's because it's on the right data type. Now, how do I know? I can use this symbol here, click on it, it's going to show me in terms of it's the date. So this is the date. Okay. If you have A, B, C, D, it means it is a text. Okay, so we have different data types. We also have a quantity 1, 2, 3. That means then we have 1.2. That is the decimal. You can see fixed decimal percentage. So all this you pass them into the right data type. If you know it's not the right data type, just select the one you think is the right data type. Now, if you also want to detect in terms of data type, you just come to transform and you see detect data type for that particular column you selected. Okay, but what we want to do now is transform helps us to transform our information and truncate the previous information. When I say truncate, it means remove, does not preserve the previous information. Okay, but add column help us to extract the new information and preserve the previous information. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we go to dates, we go to the month. So this is going to give us in terms of months, in terms of numbers. We are not still done. We still go back again. We select the dates, click on date here, and we want the month in terms of the name of month. So name of month, you can see. So how do we know? You can see it's making changes according to the numbers and the months. And also notice that our apply step, it means it's recording all our information. So in case we want to go back, we just click on this X. I'm not done. I want to extract some more information. So I'll go to the dates. Then remember date under add column because we want to create another new one. So create another column from inside the previous information, more informations. So I'll click on the year. So I'm going to have now the month name, and the year, which was extracted from our what date column. Okay. So now you can see this that we have under the valid 100%, error 0, empty 0. It means that this information is valid. If there were missing values, you will see 0, you will see 23, 24. So let's say you want to remove errors. Okay, you right click and you see remove errors. Also, you can replace the errors. You can also remove duplicates. Okay, that's it. Then the combination of words and numbers, it means it's the text. Okay, it's a text. Now, what we are going to do now is using the input data is that we'll go home. So, how did I get this information? If you open it at first, if you don't have this, what you just do is in terms of the distribution, come here, click on the column quantity and the column distribution. That's how to do it. If you click on it, you're going to have this view showing. Now, the next thing we're going to do now is that from this information now, we want to merge using an identical column. So we go to home, merge queries, click on the drop. Don't click on merge queries. Click on the drop and you see merge queries as new, meaning that we want to merge these tables with a new table. We want to merge it to form a new table separately from our previous information. If we do merge queries, it means it's going to merge everything together and does not preserve all the information. So I click on this merge queries as new. You can see input data, and if I click down here, I want to select the master data. So you can see we both have the input data and the master data. So you can see that they both have something in common, and which is the product ID. I'll select this. So you can see it's giving us the confirmation saying the selection match 527 or 527 rows of the first table. So we say okay. So what we have done now is to merge the two data sets using an identical column, that's product ID. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rename this merge one. By default, it's going to give us merge one, rename it. So we call it, let's call it sales table. You double click here, it's going to give you a blue line. So just remove the information and write sales table and hit enter. Okay. Now, if you scroll, you will see that we do not have this information showing here. Okay. So what I do now, you can see it's only just master data. Now I will click on this icon here. It's going to show me the list of informations that are already in master data, and I will check the product ID because I don't want it to show. When I do this now and I say okay, we are going to have all the informations as regarding the master data. You can see. So now I will rename this. Also, I will rename this information. Then I'll just remove the master data. Okay, I just want to leave the previous information and remove the master data. Okay, so you can see we have this information. We have this information. Now, the next thing we are going to do now is that since it's saved already and we see that we all have all our information and the right data type. So, like I said, Power Query Editor, check for missing values. We try to extract new information when required. Okay, we also can replace errors, we can remove errors. Okay, we can drop errors. Okay, then we can also remove columns, whereby you select the column and you click on the remove, so we don't need to remove any of them because they are all important. We also looked at how to check for data type and how to merge queries. Okay, queries. So by the time we're done with this, we are still on home, so you come here, click on close and apply. So we wait for Power BI to give us the confirmation. You can see it's working on it. Now we have our information. Now, the next thing we're going to go now, you can see a table view, which is where we perform our dashboard data visualization. But we will go to our table view, not the report view. Sorry, that was the report view. This is a table view. Then we have what we call model view. Now, the model view just shows us the connection. You can see when we're connecting both of them, what was the thing we use product ID, and you can see the relationship too. Also with this as well. Can make it sales, you can see product ID, and this one too, the same thing, product ID. Okay, so that's the connection. Now, the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to perform some calculations. How do we do this? Remember, we always have a guideline. So I'll call it the sales tableau. So I have this sales practice file, and I'm going to open it. So there's some things they told us to do. First of all, we should get the total sales. It's supposed to be total sales, not selling price. Total sales, the profit and the profit margin, okay? And all this will be done during the diagram, okay? So when you are given a job, let's say you have a job, and in terms of data analytics, you will not be given this summary. In fact, you'll be given in terms of questions. So you're going to be answering questions. The purpose of we using the graph is to answer questions, all right? So now, and this is the descriptive analysis. So what we are going to do now, please select the sales table. So now we want to get for the first one, which is the total sales. Now to do this, I'm going to come down here and perform a operation using the DX, that's data expression. Okay, so I'm going to say new column. New column helps us to generate a list of informations. Okay, ranges of value. So we say the total sales is equal to, so I will say the quantity in terms of the sales table multiplied by the sales of the selling price. The selling price. So by the time I do this and I hit enter, we are going to get a new column called total sales. Okay, that's for the total sales. Then now we're done with that. I'll go to table 2. So you don't need to remove this information. It's when we want to do another new one, we click on it, automatically it's going to remove. Now the next thing is the profit. So if we want to get the profit, so we need to check in terms of how much we bought this product. Okay, the buying price. So to get the profit, so I'll click on new column. So by default, it's going to give us column, and I'll say the profit. So the profit, I'm going to say the sales, which we have done, minus the buying price. That means how much we bought that goods, how much we bought it. Okay. So by the time we do this and we hit enter, we should have the information in terms of range of informations. Okay. So this is the profit. The profit. But if you want to get total, that means you want to get one value, like the total sales, total profit, we use the measure. Okay, we use the measure. So to do this now, using the measure, I'll say total sales is equals to the sum. This is my tab, open it, then I'm going to pass in the sales that we calculated for. Remember, using the column, add column was for generation of values. Now the measure is for a single value. So whenever I do this and I hit enter, okay, it already is okay. So what I have to do now is that you can see I'm having an issue with the total sales. It's already X. So what I'll do is I'll say total underscore sales. If I do this, hit enter. Now you see that's the information, that's for the measure. So you can go back here, rename it, just right click, then you will see, so this, just come here, right click, you see rename under that three dots here, rename, and we call it sales. Okay, so we have gotten the sales. All right, so you see we have gotten the sales. Then lastly, we have another, which is the profits. Okay, the profit margin. All right, so the profit margin now is going to be one value. Now to do this, I'm going to say click on table tools and new measure. By default, it's going to give me measure equals to. So I'm going to remove the measure and pass in what we call the profit. That's going to be the header. Profit margin is equals to the sum of profit. I think the sum of profits, then divided by the sum of buying price. So remember, we're using the sales table, not the input data or the master data. So by the time we do this and I hit enter, we have gotten the profit margin. So you can see working on it, and we add this, the percentage. It's going to give us in terms of percentage. Okay, in terms of percentage. So we have come in terms of the calculation part. So we have come to the end of the analysis, but we are going to also continue in the next video on how to perform the data visualization in terms of a dashboard.